Hello everybody, my name is Theo and on behalf of FP Markets, we thank you very much for watching this video. In this series, I'll be covering all the latest news with regards to the crypto market. But before we start this video, please like and subscribe as it means a lot to us and we greatly appreciate it. Also, of course, please feel free to visit our Trades Hub. This is home to a wide array of educational material. Here you can find articles, you can find videos, you can find also essential traders tools like an economic calendar and a forex calculator. All this information is included and provided by Trading Central and is applicable for all our account holders. Now, diving into this week, we'll start with the price action for Bitcoin first. We've seen a fairly positive week for Bitcoin, especially in the start of it. We saw a rise from approximately $64,000, and we had a run up all the way up to just below $72,000. So this was a fairly exciting run up so far. Now, as we discussed last week when we were at this certain price, we discussed how the possibility of being able to run up to around 69,000 and then try to get up to potentially 72,000 was a possibility, whereas of course at the same time we had just as much of a possibility of being able to potentially drop down to our support level of around 62,000. Now we've seen the upside take place. We saw that 70,000 was taken out. We saw a wickage up to 72,000, and now we've established ourselves back at the support level of $67,500 approximately. Now, once again, price-wise, we're either going to see a decline approximately back down to the 65,000 region, even potentially back down to another major support of 62,000. Whereas if we continue on the upside, which could also potentially respect this new trend line that's forming, we could also then see an approach back to 72,000, and if we have a breakout of this, we'll be approaching our new all-time highs again at around the 74,000 region. Now, why has the price been fairly positive this week? Now, in the start of the week, Bitcoin had a decent rally. Now, this could be considering because of BlackRock's ETF. The report itself stated that the BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF had hit a 6-week inflow high amid the early week rally. So on the day itself, it was published approximately $305 million was the net inflow for all 11 ETF issuers. However, BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF contributed to 290 million of the 305. So that's approximately 95% of the total inflows into the United States spot Bitcoin ETF came from BlackRock. So once again, continually showing that BlackRock is not taking a break on this, that there is still very much an institutional investment demand, and it's only going to continue increasing. Now, additionally to this, we also had some positive news when it came to the US House and the Senate. Now, first one was the US House passes a bill which is banning the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency, a central CBDC. Now, the prospects in the Senate are unclear, it says, okay, with regard to the bill. The most important thing to note, however, is the reason for the actual banning. Why would they pass a bill which is going to ban the Federal Reserve from implementing a CBDC? The main concern itself is how the central bank digital currency could be used to control Americans. As we know, post 9/11, the respect for American security in the name of national security and privacy, of course, was diminished completely. Americans' privacy was completely compromised by the government itself, as we also saw from the leaks from Edward Snowden from a long time ago. And when it comes to the finances as well, there is this shackle that Americans have. Now, when it actually comes to the central bank digital currency of things, if things are supposed to go digital, one side of things can be expected, of course, as we are going into a tokenized world and as we are becoming more and more digital, it would only make sense to have a digital currency. However, where the fine balance comes through is having the advantage of having a faster currency with funds that can clear faster than the current SWIFT system that we have, but at the same time not compromising the privacy of the citizen. So this is where the initial bill was passed banning the Federal Reserve because of the main concern with regards to privacy. Now, when it comes now to the House approving a crypto bill, this has also been something that's been very positive this week. This has been a fairly bipartisan bill with a lot of Democratic support with this as well. As we mentioned last week with the Ripple case, how Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larsen, Stuart Alderati have all respectively stated how the SEC does not give proper clarity with regards to how one can operate. And this has been something that's been very difficult for Ripple. It's been very difficult for their holders as well that hold XRP. And overall for anybody, especially that's in America right now, they're not able to operate completely transparently, even though they want to, because of the clarity that is not being given right now by the SEC. However, because of this latest bill now that the House approved, it's showing a very strong support now for the demand for crypto to be introduced and to have more policing, to have more regulation, to have more clarity. Why? As we discussed last week, if you do not provide this clarity for American companies that want to be involved in the crypto space, they will simply move abroad and therefore will not be able to benefit the Americans. So with this approval of this latest bill, with plans to be able to try and implement further crypto policy, then this can only be a step forward with regards to the space. Now, whether this is, of course, dependent on the election, as we've discussed in the past, because we've already discussed how Trump is a bit more pro-crypto these days, whereas Biden's trying his best to burn his bridges. This bill, under his presidency, under his administration, is only going to be able to be a positive for him now. Now, also, Ethereum. Ethereum ETFs cleared a major hurdle this week. Even though the SEC hasn't cleared everything for them yet, it's been a very, very positive week with major essential steps being passed by the SEC for Ethereum ETFs. Now, not everything has, of course, been approved, but key regulatory filings were approved by the SEC. So this could explain, and most likely does explain, why we had a good run up with Ethereum. We saw the price spike from around $2,900 on Monday up to a high of just below $4,000. So this is a substantial jump for Ethereum. Now, of course, this has been priced in because of the ETF news, and since then, because as we just discussed, not everything has been passed. They're not out the woods just yet. We have a bit of a sell-off, but this is completely understandable. We've had the run-up. We've hit a resistance of around $3,900 to $4,000 respectively. Now we're having a bit of a run down, potentially now establishing this area of around 3,600, 3,700 as a support level before we can start climbing higher amid this news. However, it would be completely normal if we were to see a bit more of a drop, come down to around 3,500 to 3,333, as we discussed in the past, and we'd see where we'd react from there. However, the news itself is very, very positive for Ethereum. Even though, again, not everything has been completed yet, the approval process itself differed slightly from the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs in January itself, because the spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved via voting for a 5-member committee, including the Securities and Exchange Commission's chief, who was Gary Gensler. The Ethereum ETFs itself were approved by the Trading and Markets Division of the SEC. So what does this mean for Ethereum? If there is going to be ETFs that are going to be approved for Ethereum, then we could potentially see a similar run up to what we've had with Bitcoin since the start of the year, especially when BlackRock passed their ETFs. So it would be very interesting to see the space now for Ethereum. As we've discussed the potential action of the price, we'll see where it's going to go, especially over the weekend, and how this news with regards to the ETFs develop. However, overall this week, it's been a very positive week for the crypto space. There's a bit more clarity that's coming in, even though there's nothing concrete just yet. All the signs are there that's showing that there is a need for it, there is a demand for it, and there is an effort being made now within the government to try and implement further regulatory clarity. So far, this was the major news with Bitcoin, as we said before. Bitcoin had a really juicy run up to 72,000. Now we're relaxing at around the $67,500 region. If we're going to continue to climb up, I wouldn't be surprised to see us take out the 72,000 and try and approach our all-time high again. Whereas at the same time, if we see a drop, wouldn't be surprised to come down to 62,000, even potentially back down to 59 to 60,000. However, this has also been a potential trend line that's building right now. There seems to be a bit of a respect of this support level. So we'll see where we're going to go into the weekend. However, as we've repeated, the news this week so far for the crypto space has been fairly positive. So that rounds up our video for this week. Until next week, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. You can always contact us via our live chat support. We're available 24/7 for you at www.fpmarkets.com. And once again, thank you very much for watching this video, and I shall see you all next week. Have a great weekend ahead. Goodbye.